2, and 1.
Hi, everyone. This is Craig Proctor. You ever wonder how you can make a lot of money running free ads on Facebook Marketplace? That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Welcome to the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show. My special guest today is Dawn Chadwell, who is currently in Texas, but also operates in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Dawn, welcome to the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show.
Thank you so much. Really excited.
Hey, let's dig in and learn a little bit about you, Dawn. You've had awesome success, and a lot of agents run ads on Facebook Marketplace, but they don't know how to convert the leads, which is what we're going to discuss here today. What offers work the best on Facebook Marketplace? Obviously, the price is right. We love the fact that we can do this for free. There are mistakes that are commonly made, and a lot of realtors who have tried Facebook Marketplace have not figured out how to convert the leads to face-to-face appointments, or they complain that the leads are no good, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to cover all that today. But first of all, a little background on you, Dawn. How did we first meet, and explain to everybody exactly what's happened to your real estate business since the time that you and I first started working together?
So I think it was back in 2017 when you went to the Exit Realty Bahamas 20th anniversary. You did a half day. Mm-hmm. Yep. And they lost your luggage. So you sold a whole bunch of us on in jeans and a sweatshirt or something like that.
That's crazy. I was coming back from one of our conferences in Anaheim, and I had a connection, of course, to get to the Bahamas. So I brought my wife, and her luggage shows up. My luggage is not there. We land on a Sunday night, and I've got to do the keynote for it was like the 20th anniversary, I think, for Exit Realty, and it's at Atlantis in Bahamas. And I have to go on stage with what I was wearing on the airplane, which is a pair of jeans and basically a golf shirt like this. But that was a great conference. So that's where we met. Cool. So what has happened? You've got such an interesting story. Tell us all of the thoughts you've had and what's been happening with your business since that time.
Sure. Well, I was a struggling real estate brokerage owner with Exit, and they had a lot of things that I was required to do, and I just wasn't doing it. I wasn't able to. I didn't have the lead generation. I didn't have the knowledge really to do it. I saw your system, and after that half day, went to the very next Anaheim conference, super conference, and was sold out because you teach how to market. We're salespeople, but we are more importantly marketers. And I totally learned how to market and do that lead generation. So it really, really helped. So
let me jump in for a minute. What we're talking about here, folks, is when we talk about Craig Proctor style marketing, it is like direct response. So that means every time that you're making an offer, you want to get an immediate response from a qualified buyer or seller. So what we really drill into is, well, what offers would work the best? And this is where most realtors, their marketing kind of falls down on them, because yes, they're using Facebook, and they're using LinkedIn, and they're using YouTube. But what perhaps they don't have are very strong offers. So it wasn't like you weren't marketing before, but now you had better offers. You learned better offers to make buyers and sellers.
Yes, and it made them respond and call me and inquire of me. So it's not a cold call, it's a warm call. And we're able to, with the universal callback script, get that appointment almost every time, which is awesome. So it makes the amount of money that you're making as a real estate agent just skyrocket. The very first year I was with you, I doubled. And then
that's cool. You actually doubled the first year.
I actually doubled the first year. And that was a really rough year. My dad passed that year. So even though I wasn't fully focused, it helped me double. Same with 2019, I doubled again. And then the pandemic hit, and I doubled again in 2020. And so very interesting.
You realize, Dawn, it's gonna get harder and harder to keep doubling and doubling this every year. But that's awesome. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I made a mistake, and I well, I shouldn't say a mistake. I moved to Texas. My husband retired, so we moved to Texas. That's how I was in Albuquerque, and I'm in Texas now. And so I took a break for about 5 months. Biggest mistake I ever made. I should not have taken a break for 5 months.
Okay,
but
so that's interesting. Explain to people why you took this break. I mean, basically, you're in Albuquerque, New Mexico. You've been there for a long time. First of all, why did you decide to move your business to Texas? And what part of Texas?
So I didn't move. I didn't decide to move my business originally. I was going to close my Albuquerque branch and just retire. And I'm in Central Texas. I'm on a cute little lake called Lake Limestone, right between Waco and Bryan College Station. So those are the areas actually I now serve. But we were going to retire. My business was doing so good, even when I wasn't working, that I decided to keep it. My business increased 25% over the 12 months when I did not work for 9 of them. So I decided I better keep Albuquerque.
You know, that's a really great commercial for the Craig Proctor system. It's like you tried to retire, you backed it way down, but it still kept working and doubling up every year. That's awesome. So you move to Texas, and you felt that you were just going to have to close down your Albuquerque office, right?
Right, because I didn't want to do both. But learning this system, I can do both, which is.
So when did you have that epiphany that you actually don't need to be in that marketplace, that you could be in 2 or 3 or 5 marketplaces and have this work without your presence?
It was probably when I realized that my business was still increasing, even though I had pretty much stopped everything, and the systems just kept working. And so I don't have to be there when I have someone that can show houses or someone that can make appointments for me, and I can just manage. And that makes it very well worth it. I have
okay. So, yeah, I hope everyone watching this understands the distinction between having a job as a real estate agent where you're limited by your own time, or maybe, you know, you've got a couple of assistants, but we're talking about replacing yourself to the degree where it really is a business. I mean, how many homes could you sell if it had nothing to do with you? So that's basically the epiphany, I guess, Dawn, that you eventually had was, I don't need to be in Albuquerque to have a successful real estate business there. I can be in Texas. I can be wherever I want to be. Cool. Now, the thing that we wanted to focus on today is you've done such a great job with running free ads on Facebook Marketplace.
Yes.
Before we get into how you crack the code on that, exactly what you're doing, what are some of the mistakes you think that realtors make with Facebook Marketplace? Because you hear a lot of people saying, well, I tried it and either I didn't generate leads or I generated leads and I didn't know how to convert them.
I think the biggest mistake is they don't have the right offer, because you have to have a good offer for someone to actually respond to it. Second biggest mistake is they don't respond to everybody as quickly as possible. And the third one is they don't have a script in order to qualify them to make an appointment and to offer them the best offer that we have to offer.
Right. So not only does the ad have an offer, the actual script qualifies them, and the script has an offer. Yes. Right. The offer we make in the ad in Facebook Marketplace, that offer is to basically compel qualified buyers and sellers to more or less raise their hand. Yes. Then we need to have a good script to qualify the buyers and sellers, because we don't want to just meet with a prospect because we can. We only want to meet with a buyer because we should. So the scripting is very important. And then, of course, just because, they're a qualified buyer and just because we want to meet with them doesn't necessarily mean they want to meet with us. So we have to up that offer again. So the end result is that everyone that sees or hears your offer, who is a qualified buyer, says, yes, I want that. And boom, now you've got what you want, which is an appointment with a qualified prospect.
Yes, that's right.
All right. So why don't we, do you want to jump in now and show some of your slides, or is there anything else you want to cover first? Okay, let's pull those up, Faith. Faith is going to pull up some slides on Facebook Marketplace, and I'll just, Faith will just, she'll go through the slides here, and I'll let you do the talking, Dawn.
Okay. So Facebook Marketplace is free. Everyone knows that. It's awesome. The first thing you have to do is get, well, I guess here's a little review. You already heard me say that my doubled and tripled, you know, each year. The very first time I did it, I only did one, you know, deal in Marketplace. Then the next year, 6 deals. Every year it's doubling. I think this last year was about 24 deals on Marketplace. So yeah. So the ad is super important. We've got to make sure that we have a good picture. So, and we test different pictures to see what's going to get more response. And we always say that it's for sale. In our Marketplace, we have a $500 down and a $1,000 down that really grabs their interest. How can I get into a house so inexpensively? So they
right. So buy a home for either $500 down or $1,000 down. And obviously you have arrangements with lenders to make that happen. And are these always pictures of a house that you have personally listed, or are you using just other pictures of houses?
Both. We've tried both. Most of the time they're houses that I have listed and sold, and then we continue to market them because it's a Northeast Heights home for sale, not this home. So, or homes, it's for a hot list, things like that.
Yeah, notice that. Does everyone see where it says 3-bedroom homes? It's plural. Just adding that S on the end of homes, you know, it makes it more difficult for the buyer prospect to eliminate it. Right? It's easy to eliminate one house, but when it says 3-bedroom homes in Albuquerque, you know, it's a wider offer. Okay, it's going to appeal to more people. I assume you test the different pictures of the houses, and some of the pictures work better than others.
Yes, absolutely. And we keep track of every lead that comes in, how many people click on it, how many people message us, how many people we actually talk with and get to an appointment, things like that. One really important thing we notice is that we have to put in there that it's for sale, not rent. Because on Marketplace, a lot of people are looking for rent. So in order to weed out some of those people, we want to make sure it's for sale. And then oftentimes we still have to say that. This is one client of mine, Lori. She was awesome. Her and her husband. We got the appointment on October 14th and they closed November 25th. So some of these can be right now buyers that want to get into it. And we did it just by using the universal callback script.
Let's look through this. So flip that back for a sec, Faith. Okay, so this is Lori. Lori says, I love this house. I have yet to pre-qualify for anything, but I'd love to know more about this house and what the monthly payments might look like. And you're like, yeah, we can help you. Are you working with a realtor now? We want to know that. And Lori says, not yet. I do know one that I like from when we tried to get a house a year ago. And then you say, we are realtors who can help you with everything you need. She says, okay, cool. You say, yep. Do you have free time today? We'd love to discuss a few things with you and see how we can help you. It's free, no obligation. And then she says, no, sadly, I have plans. So what happens next?
The next slide shows that one. Is there a number to call? We call and make the appointment the next day.
Now, are you doing your appointments always in person, or are you doing some on Zoom to like do a quick qualification appointment?
So pre-pandemic, we did them in person.
Right.
Of course, during the pandemic on Zoom, and now we do a combination. A lot of the Facebook Marketplace will go ahead and do a Zoom real quick and then meet with them in person after that.
So do you, even, you know, after the pandemic, you still like offering the Zoom option, like some of the prospects prefer it?
Yes, we get a really high show up rate. We're at about 75–80% show up rate on Zoom, and it helps us with our realtors, my outside sales agents. They can have more appointments that way during the day, and then have more time to be out showing houses.
Okay, now I do want to talk to your team. Once we get through these slides, you guys, everyone wants to stay tuned because Dawn has this amazing team, this structure that you folks are all going to be interested in. And, you know, the fact that she can live in one state and have businesses in other states is pretty cool. So we're going to show you how that works. All right, next slide. Appointments can be made via chat. So this is just another example of a prospect named Bradley responding saying, is it still available? And you're like, the house is available for sale. Are you planning to make the move in the next 3 to 6 months? So we're trying to nail down timing. And Bradley says, yes, I'm in an apartment right now, and the lease is up in the next couple of months. I'm in the Air Force. You say, I see. Now these are not automated. This is you actually messaging them, right? This isn't like a robot or anything.
Actually, it's not me. It's my inside sales agent that's doing it.
Right. But you had to be good at this first before you could
Yes.
show them how to do it. Right?
Actually, and I still do it
Yeah.
periodically because I don't have someone that works on the weekend. So I answer all the ones on the weekend. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this is about getting them off of Facebook or Messenger. You're taking them from Facebook Marketplace to Messenger, and then getting them off of Messenger, either like onto the phone or a Zoom meeting or just an appointment in person.
Yep, that's right.
Cool. And it takes some skill. So folks, when you start doing this, if you're not converting them right away, don't give up on it and think, well, this doesn't work. It's just, you've got to learn you got to learn how to do it.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Let's go to the next slide.
These are just more examples of how we did it. Usually we ask, are you planning to make a move in the next 3 to 6 months? Do you currently rent or do you own your own home? Do you have a realtor to help you when the time is right? Just, the script, and then book that appointment.
My universal callback script is really universal, isn't it? Like, it doesn't matter whether it's an ad call, a sign call, the language you use when you meet somebody at an open house, whether you're following up with someone on Facebook Marketplace. I mean, that's why we call it the universal callback script. It can be used in all situations to determine the motivation and timing of the prospect and help you get an appointment by making the best offer.
Yes.
Okay, let's keep going here. We've got more examples. Okay, common questions. So are you planning on making a move in the next 3 to 6 months? Obviously, we want to know that. What do you do? What do you do, Dawn, if they're outside of that time frame?
Depends on how far outside. If they're over 6 months, then we try to figure out why, and we will stay in contact with them. A lot of times we'll make them friends on Facebook so that we can continue messaging them, and we'll recontact them and keep in contact with them until they are ready.
The next question, do you currently rent or do you own your own home? Obviously, what we're trying to find out there is, are they first-time buyers or are they move-up buyers?
Yes.
And if they say, I own a house, then you want to ask, well, would you prefer to buy first or sell first? Because you want to make sure that you make them the right offer.
Right.
Just because they own a house doesn't mean they want to sell first, and it doesn't mean they want to buy first. They're going to have a preference. In this crazy hot market, of course, many sellers are reluctant to list their house before they know where they're going. So many sellers would say, well, I need to find a place before I've got the confidence to list my current home.
Yes.
And then the next question is, do you have a realtor to help you when the time is right? What if they say, yeah, I have a realtor?
Then we dig deeper. We ask if they're committed, or if they're willing to talk with another realtor, because we have off-market properties, different systems to get your home sold for the highest price with the least amount of hassle. Okay,
now I like that. You see, Dawn slides in a little differentiation there, a little offer. What I was, did everyone hear that? We have unique programs. We can get you access to unlisted and off-market properties. As soon as buyers hear that, they're intrigued. And I'm always amazed that if you make a buyer the right offer, how quickly they'll throw, their best friend or Uncle Joe, the realtor, under the bus. So my advice there is when you say, do you have a realtor? When you ask them, do you have a realtor to help you? If they say yes, don't give up on that. Just always are you 100% committed to your realtor? For example, we have access to unlisted and off-market properties, right? We can get you access to hot new listings before other realtors and other buyers even know about them. Right away, if there's a little crack in that relationship, if they're not completely 100% solid with their realtor, you can usually detect that. Now, of course, the opposite's true. If they're like, well, it's my dad or my mom, and there's absolutely they're solid with the realtor, then you're just going to end that conversation and move on.
Right.
The important thing to understand when you're asking prospects these qualifying questions is we are not trying to create motivation where motivation doesn't exist. You know, the Craig Proctor system, our mindset is it's pretty easy to generate leads if you know what you're doing and you're making the right offers. So what we're looking for is we're looking for buyers and sellers that are actually motivated, and their timing is like right now or in the next 3-6 months. That's what we're looking for. And again, making the right offer, you'll have lots of prospects that fall into that category. But I know a lot of coaches teach, well, you know, you should try to make an appointment no matter what, even if, you know, they're not answering the questions the way you like. No, we're not doing that. We're only meeting with buyers and sellers that answer our questions to our liking. So this is basically, Dawn, this is you interviewing the prospect to determine, is this prospect worthy of you?
Right. Because we have so many leads, we can be picky on who we work with.
And honestly, this is how you get rich in real estate, folks. You get rich in real estate by having better prospects. You know, this is how we're able to double up your business every single year, is we teach you how to attract more and better prospects. Like, let's say if I'm brand new in real estate and I can get better leads, it makes me look better, right? Like, I don't have to really get better if the buyers and sellers are better quality leads. It makes the job a lot easier. Okay, so once you take them through these questions, you're really deciding, is this somebody I want to meet with? Is this somebody I want to follow up with? Or is this prospect represent zero business to me?
Right.
Okay, what happens next?
So we do a little bit of pre-qualification to make sure that they're going to be able to qualify. In the Albuquerque marketplace, it's typically a lower income. And so we want to make sure that they're, you know, have a 2-year work history and stuff like that. So we kind of ask those questions just to weed out a few more. And a lot of times that'll weed out the renters also, unfortunately. And then we set the appointment if they're, like you said, someone that we're going to want to work with or be able to work with. Okay,
next slide. Now, you're the one, obviously, that trained your team members. So you had to be good at all of this. You had to master it first before you became so competent at it that you were quickly able to teach your team members how to be as good as you. And that's the key. And a lot of realtors who try to grow at their team, they basically abdicate responsibility rather than truly delegate it. Right? Like you can't really delegate an activity unless you're super competent at that activity yourself. Like, how could you possibly teach someone how to do something you're not good at, right? So just a key point there. We're going to talk about team building here in a minute. So let's talk about the appointment. Okay, so you're saying here during the pandemic, obviously you did a lot of Zoom meetings. And today, I don't know if it's after the pandemic. I mean, who knows? But today, you're doing both, right?
Yes.
If you can get a physical appointment, do you try for that first, or are you basically asking the prospect what they prefer?
We try for the physical, you know, in-person prospect first. A lot of people are still hesitant, so then we go right for the Zoom, and then we'll be able to meet with them after the Zoom.
Yeah, and the Zoom is super efficient, and the Zoom meeting, if it goes well, is just really a lead up for the actual in-person appointment that'll happen shortly after.
Yes.
Okay, next slide.
Yep. And then we just talked, a lot of times they will ask about the $500 or $1,000 down programs. And then we just tell them that we'll discuss it with them when we meet them. And then, like I mentioned before, we go ahead and backtrack. Those that didn't respond, we'll go back and say, hey, are you interested in buying a home? Those that were more than 6 months or didn't answer us right away, we'll go back and follow up with them.
All right. So do you have a lot of success with the people that don't respond if you just keep following up with them?
No, and we don't do it very often. The people that respond initially are the ones who are going to be better prospects, but we go ahead, we don't want to miss anyone. So we go ahead and backtrack a couple of weeks later just to make sure that we didn't miss anyone.
Okay, cool. Talk to us about this slide, renew a post.
So you do need to renew your post every 7 days. You can do it 5 times before you have to run a new ad. And it just helps keep the ad on top of Marketplace so that more prospects are seeing it more often.
And
then,
is there any downside to like any maximum amount of ads that you can run on Facebook Marketplace without having any problems?
No, that next slide, that slide that you
Oh,
were
okay. Yeah, I got
on,
it. Okay, there we are.
We don't want to post too many ads at the same time. Some of the biggest things is that people will put 2 and 3 ads on at once. Your account will get flagged. I have 2 business and 1 personal account that I run between on Marketplace because Facebook has gotten really weird, especially this last year. They flag everything, it seems like. So we put 1 ad on in the morning, make sure it's been approved, and then we'll do another one. We try to have 10 to 20 ads running at a time, and we'll get up towards of 100 leads each day contacting us. And some of those leads will contact on 2 and 3 and 4 different ads.
Now, if your Facebook account does get disabled, what's the process to get it reactivated again?
So they have a request to review your Marketplace, and you just put in a request. Many times they are checking to see if it's really you because you're putting so many ads on. So you have to send your ID in and then they reapprove it most of the time. Usually it takes less than 24 hours.
Okay, so you found like the sweet spot where you can run as many ads without actually being flagged. So
right, you just have to be careful how many times you're posting and renewing those ads to space it out.
Cool. All right, next slide, please. And that's it. Okay, so so we can go full screen again. All right, so let's switch gears to your team. Okay, so have you always had, well, probably in the beginning, it was just you, right? Tell us what your team looks like today and what the functions are of the different people.
Excellent. So I have 5 outside sales agents in the Albuquerque area, and I have 1 executive assistant. I have 1 full-time virtual VA. And I have 1 virtual ISA and training, 1 in-house. And I have a full-time video editor also so that I can do my omnipresence. And we just opened the Texas one, so I'm actually looking for realtors, but I have 3 that are coming on and we're starting training now.
Okay, so first of all, let me give everyone a shout out on that. If you would like to have a conversation with Dawn about joining up with her, partnering up with her in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And what is your marketplace in Texas?
It's between Bryan College Station, where Texas A&M is, and Waco, Texas. Kind of.
All right, now I just have to share with everybody what a sweet deal this is. If you're a realtor, a solo realtor, you're responsible for all your marketing, and if you're successful at real estate, you're working 60, 70 hours a week. I want to introduce everyone to a little different opportunity here. You could partner up with Dawn or any Craig Proctor system members. And basically, here's the deal. And it's a sweet deal. So check this out. If you were an agent that partnered up with Dawn, Dawn pays for all the lead generation. And she's been coached up by me on what are the best offers to make and where are the best places to run those offers. So leads are not a problem. Okay. The leads would not even come to you. The leads would go to the inside sales agents. So Dawn pays for all the marketing and advertising. She oversees it all. All the appointments come into the inside sales agents who call and qualify the buyers and sellers. And the best buyers and sellers appointments are booked. That's where you, the outside sales agent, would go out and meet with the buyer and seller, but Dawn would coach you up. She would actually give you the Craig Proctor presentations for buyers, the Craig Proctor listing buyer presentation. You'd be coached up on how to use that. And, our goal is for you to have a 70 to 80% conversion when you go out and you meet with a buyer or seller. So literally, you just go from appointment to appointment to appointment to appointment. Dawn, you heard this story. The very first outside sales agent I hired was brand new in real estate. She had her license for like 6 months, and she made $250,000 net in her pocket the first year she worked with me.
Amazing.
Yeah. And she certainly was, a skilled agent, and she could have worked as a solo agent, but she would not have netted as much money in her pocket. There was another guy that I recruited. I think he worked for Remax, and this guy was, I knew the guy because I had sold his house years earlier before he got into real estate. And so when I was growing up my team, I called him and I said, hey, you remember me? I sold your house, whatever, 8 years ago. I see you're in real estate now. He was with Remax. He was making about $100,000 a year. Right. And I said, but what do you really net? He said, well, honestly, I probably spend 30 or 40 grand to make the 100 grand. I said, okay, so you're netting $60,000 a year. And he was complaining about working, 60, 70 hours a week to do it. I said, if you come and you work with me, I guarantee you'll net more than the 100 grand that you're grossing. So you're actually, you're netting $60,000. I will, if you come and you partner up with me, I will make sure in your pocket, you will double that 60. You'll make 120. Well, he was with me for about a year. He was doing 250.
Yeah.
So yeah, like this is a great opportunity for realtors to have a business inside of your business where they actually could net more money in their pocket and not work as many hours and really focus on the parts of the job that they love, which is going out and meeting with buyers and sellers. So, you won't have to, here's all the things you wouldn't have to do. If you partnered up with Dawn, if you're a realtor, you partner up with Dawn, you're not running around getting keys cut. You're not installing key boxes. You're not making feature sheets. You're not taking pictures. You're not doing all of this admin stuff. That is all taken care of. You're not paying out of your pocket for leads and marketing and advertising. You're not even calling leads back or figuring out, how do I get appointments from, you don't have to do any of that. You simply look at your day timer every day and you're going from appointment to appointment to appointment. Now, if that sounds too good to be true, you should call Dawn. What would be the best way for agents to, if they want to know a little bit more about how to partner up with you and how this would work for both them and you, what would be the best way for them to reach you?
So in New Mexico, 505-306-9448. If you're in Texas and want to join Texas, it's 254-426-5919. Or you can just email me at dawnchadwell@gmail.com.
Cool. Now, if you're not in Dawn's marketplace, you're somewhere else in the United States or Canada, and if you would like to have the kind of business that Dawn has, then you should set up a call with me. And I'll simply explain to you. First of all, I'd ask you a bunch of questions about what you're doing now, because I'd want to get to know you and what you're doing right now. Then, free of charge, no obligation, I would just give you my advice on, have you ever considered this? Like, this is what I would do if I was you. And then you can take that advice and you can say, well, I'm just going to take Craig's advice and I'm going to do it myself. Or would it be easier to successfully do this with Craig's help?
Yes.
Right. So I freely give lots of information about what I do. It's kind of like climbing Mount Everest. Dawn, I'm sure you and I could, Google, how do you climb Mount Everest? And we could maybe figure it out. We might die on the way up. Lots of people have, right? We probably wouldn't do that, right? If we wanted to climb to the top of Mount Everest, we would look for a guide, someone that's been up that mountain thousands of times.
Yep.
So if you'd like to have a free, no obligation, we call it a breakthrough call with me, all you have to do is go to proctorcall.com. So my name, proctorcall.com. So what we'll do is, in the link below, here's what we'll do. We'll provide you a link to Dawn's slides, everything that she covered here today. We'll have that information so you can get those slides. I'll also make sure that we have Dawn's information, her contact information, in the comments below, and we'll have my information and the link to proctorcall.com. So, and you know what, if you just want to verify Dawn's story, you want to give her a shout. She'd be happy to talk to you about her experience here with the Craig Proctor system. And anything else you'd like to share, Dawn, before we wrap it up?
Yeah, best decision I ever made.
Oh, there's a buyer now.
Sorry. Best decision I ever made, being with Craig Proctor and learning from you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I can't wait for the future. It's just going to keep getting better.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for doing this interview, Dawn. I really appreciate it. And I want to thank everybody for watching the Craig Proctor show here today. Dawn Chadwell, comments in the comments below, we'll have her contact information. Reach out to her or set up a call with me, and let's get you at least some information. Don't be skeptical. Remember, everything you want to do in real estate has already been done by me and Dawn and thousands of other Craig Proctor members all over the United States and Canada. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching this edition of the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show. Take care, and we'll see you all soon.